Hello everybody and welcome back to another Dark and Darker video. Today we are going to be reviewing this footage where I am going in with just the default gear into Highroller, Crypts, Solo, and I am going to take this all the way down to Hell, and we are going to farm Hell and earn some serious money. So first thing I'm doing here is I spawned in a really good room here in the center, and it seems like no one's nearby because I have enhanced hearing on and I don't hear them. I want to kill these two skeletons because they have a chance of dropping a bow for me or more arrows. And right on this first one, I get a green longbow. And you might be thinking, oh man, you got so spooned on that. And I absolutely did. And that's because I tried this like 6 other times and it didn't work any of those times. So the time where I get spooned is the time where it works. And that's just how it goes. It doesn't really have much to do with RNG other than RNG is the deciding factor of whether or not I can complete the run here. And because I did so many runs, eventually I got one where I was spooned and I could complete the run. I'm also going to loot this lion's head chest here because they can have really good stuff in Highroller, and I already cleared out the middle, so why not? We get a green arming sword, which is great because I can now drop my short sword, and that allows me to break barrels, even a white one, a gray one. Those would work just fine as well. Not exactly good as a weapon, but it is good for breaking those barrels and stuff, which will let me get some more loot later. Now, I have a red archer skeleton on me and an elite mummy on me as well. So I'm just going to drag them up here where they can't get to me and kill them real quick. And my damage is so much higher than it otherwise would have been without finding this green longbow. And I actually found a blue recurve bow as well, which also would work, but I prefer a green longbow over a blue recurve bow. They could honestly probably use a little bit of balancing on the bows because the longbows are just quite a bit better right now. So I go ahead, I kill these two, and I want to make certain to loot this skeleton here. And you might be wondering, why are you picking up that white recurve bow? That is because every bow comes with a certain amount of arrows in it, and you can actually shoot them out and not reload it and pick the arrows up, and then you have more arrows. So it's basically like a gun with a clip in it already. And so I always like to pick up the extra bows and gather some extra arrows, especially with Highroller Hell, because some enemies can take so many arrows to kill. Even with a pretty good longbow, it can take like a good 40 or 50 arrows to kill the centaur with headshots. And ideally, every time I do one of these, I want to kill centaurs because they can drop legendaries and other very good items. Now I'm going back down here and looting these chests. I'm just trying to get a couple more items that would make it easier to live, but I'm mostly getting sellables out of this. What I really want is an invis potion, and I'm trying to find somewhere here where there is a lever available and I can go hide in a room. And you guys will see in just a second, I do end up finding a room around here. I knew there was one around here. I just didn't know exactly where it was. So I'm looking for that right now. And so I want to find that room because the little hidden lever rooms in this game usually have a lever inside the room as well that lets you close it up. And then I'm just gonna hide like a rat because, you know, if a fully stacked team of 3 jumps me when I'm wearing this and I have no invis pots and no real way to get away from them, I'm guaranteed dead. It doesn't matter how good a player I am, I'm absolutely dead there. I could be cheating 360 spin botting with my arrows and I would still lose to 3 people like that. So I'm just going to play like a rat then and avoid PvP because PvP is extremely dangerous to me, even more so than the mobs here are or the mobs in Hell are. So I'm just avoiding it. This is the best way to actually survive with this method. And I lock myself in this room with this lever here. Now, the downside with this is if someone comes in, I can't really escape, but this room has 2 levers and 2 routes I can escape from. So this is one of the best rooms in the game to hide in. And luckily, the other people that did come by didn't know where this room was, so they had no idea how to get to me, and I was perfectly safe in here. And I'm trying to take this longsword here, because I think it might sell for like 50 gold. Probably would, but I do end up dropping it later, which usually ends up happening. If you go down to Hell, you want to drop some stuff and clear some room for more things. And I am just going to sit down here, that way I don't accidentally move and make a footstep. And I go ahead and I literally open up my phone here and I'm not playing for a bit. And then I hear people are around me, so I turn my brain back on, and there's this rogue next to me over here. It seems like he's solo to me because I'm not hearing another person, but even a rogue who's kitted solo would absolutely mess me up. Ranger is not exactly the best against rogue, especially if they get the jump on you. Even though I could get the jump on him here, I probably wouldn't beat him. I had checked the people in the lobby, and there were a lot of people with a good plus 20 weapon damage on their kits that were rogues. This guy would probably beat me to death. Now, I stood up here because I want to be able to move once the hell portals spawn. The hell portals spawn at 3:20. You do not have a timer, but it's about 3/4 of the way full on the red bar. And I believe those are the hell portals spawning now. And I really shouldn't have pulled out my torch here, but I didn't want to step on the spike trap. That would really give my position away. Better than stepping on the spike trap, at least. But I believe I let these people know that I'm here, and they did hear this, even though I have enhanced hearing on, and I should be able to hear further than them. And that's perfectly fine. We're doing okay here. And a wizard actually uses a light orb there in the circle room trying to look for me. And they did it in the right area, but they thought I was a rogue. And I'm not a rogue. I'm just a rat hiding in the walls. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm sitting in the zone. You might be thinking, why are you letting your health go down that much? These players are much more dangerous to me than the zone is, but the zone is also dangerous to them, and they're going to run away from it if they are the strongest team. I would much rather try and fight one rogue out in the middle of the zone who's very weak already than try and fight a full 3-man inside the zone where I'm not dying and they're not dying and there's no rush to get out of there. I want these people gone, and I didn't hear them opening up these hell portals, so I'm thinking, okay, I pretty much know where the hell portals are, because portal spawns are actually set already. There's like a good couple hundred portal spawn positions, and if you memorize them all, you should know where they are. I knew there was like 10 in this room. So here we go. We got a hell portal, and we got a rogue over there who is leaving through that portal. That was probably the guy I was hearing earlier, but he's just a solo. He's gone. We're going to get through this hell portal. I'm dodging this arrow from behind me and getting through this hell portal before I die. If I had gotten hit by that arrow, that would have killed me. I was the last person in the lobby. I sit down immediately to try and get whatever health back I can because your red health bar gets reset when you get moved into hell. And I wanted to get all my health back. It would have been nice if I wasn't the last person, but there's not much I can do about it here. And I'm also fairly certain there's no one else in hell with me, which is generally the thing that kills me in these runs when I actually make it down to hell is there's more players down here. And if I run into a 3-man down in hell and I'm also getting ganked by PvE, I'm generally dead. Now, I do not have time to sit here, and I would not recommend that you sit in hell unless you don't have enough health to even survive a regular hit from any nightmare mob. So I just go ahead, I eat my snacks here, and I get my health up high enough that I can survive a regular hit. And I've shot this dragonfly once, I believe, already, and I'm going to hit it a second time here. And it still doesn't go down. That's because I hit it in the wings, I believe, instead of in the body. Limb shots do less damage in this game, and the hitboxes are very precise, and headshots do even more damage. But yeah, that thing took 3 shots to kill, even with a green longbow, and that's because it's a nightmare variant. They're very, very strong. Now, I want to be careful here of the gargoyles flying above me, or the demon bats, and they can be extremely dangerous, but they're usually extremely dangerous when they're in conjunction with another enemy. If you pull just a demon bat at once, they're honestly easier to kill than like a nightmare zombie is because they're so easy to kite and the poison doesn't chase you so quickly and it's just easier. So I have aggroed a demon bat. It's coming towards me. I shoot it because that slows it down, and longbow slows down more than recurve or survival bow, which is very helpful here. And you want to step about a demon dog of distance away from the demon bat here, and then you want to move to the left and to the right. It just hits straight in front of it, and it's actually a very small cone, so it's very easy to sidestep. And even the nightmare ones, which are faster, are easy to sidestep. Now, I am trying to move to the south here. The room to the south is very easy. It's the room with the skeleton archers and some skeletons down below that can all be cheesed. I would have liked the circle to be on the room to the east here, but it just wasn't. The room to the east has the best loot, but I do not want to get caught out in the circle and not be able to see the mobs I'm fighting. Now, what's happening here is I've actually found a little AI glitch on this zombie, and I'm going to use that to kill it, actually. So I'm stepping forward from in front of this pot and then shooting, and then when I go back behind the pot, it runs away again because it's trying to find a different route to get to me. And it thinks it can't walk past this pot, even though it definitely could. It's just its pathing AI. And I can just keep doing this over and over. However, these things do have a ton of health, so keep that in mind when you're killing these. They can also drop pretty good stuff, the Nightmare variants in Highroller Hell, so I do recommend you loot them if you get the chance to. And I'm going to loot this guy here real quick, mostly because I want my arrows back, but I also get a +1 agility doublet, which is great. A little bit extra move speed is always good. And I was thinking about doing the same thing to this one here, but the circle is about to move in, and I just don't have time for it. So I am just going to lock it in this room behind me so it can't ever get to me. And now another gargoyle's on me. I didn't know there was another one on this side of the room. I didn't think it would aggro on me, so I'm just going to shoot it and keep backing up just like I did to the other one. I can still dodge it in the exact same way as before. It is not a big deal. And generally, I like to use my triple shot when I'm on 0 arrows because it lets you do that. I don't know why the game lets you do that, but it does, and that's just higher DPS. The zombie is chasing me, and these are extremely dangerous, the Nightmare variants, and they can spawn poison clouds that get really annoying. There's also a gargoyle aggroed on me, so I just run in here real quick and put the lever down. He actually gets hit by the door and stuck behind it, which is great for me, but that was incredibly close. I'm killing this dragonfly here, that way I don't get hit by the poison, and I still end up getting hit by the poison. And I'm going to kill this demon bat because I want some extra loot, and I think I have enough time for it. And I do end up having enough time for it, but barely. You have to go very fast with this method. And with the regular recurve bow that you spawn with, it is technically possible, but you better get a good circle spawn or really know how to dodge the enemies and just run through rooms if you want to do that. And because the enemies are so fast in Highroller Hell, you're generally just stuck with shooting things and not running past. It is technically possible, but it is extremely, extremely difficult, and I would not recommend it. Okay, and I'm just shooting this guy here, and I don't want to use my triple shot here because I don't want to use up extra arrows. I want to make certain I have enough arrows to actually kill everything. Honestly, I probably should have used triple shot there in hindsight, but hindsight is 20/20. You will not always play perfectly well. This chaperone is... It's a decent enough item, but the rolls on it are bad, and that's an item that requires good rolls to actually sell. I pick up this recurve bow because it's green, and if I run out of arrows, I could just swap to it and keep shooting. I could also do that with the blue one. So I have plenty of arrows here, actually. I just really want to keep using the longbow because it has better damage. And I get a surgical kit here. Great find. A blue surgical kit you can actually generally sell for 100 gold, but I do end up using it later here in this run. And it's better to use the item and live than it is to greed over the item and not live. And you might wonder why I shot the skeleton on the right here. That's to aggro it onto me so it stays in place and does not keep wandering around. And then I go ahead and kill it with triple shot. Did a pretty good job there. And I'm worried about the Nightmare melee skeletons here. But what I can do is go over to where those archers were. And I can get up there and he's not going to be able to get to me. And I can just shoot him in the head over and over. I do get spooked here, if I remember correctly, for a moment that he can actually walk up and get to me, but he cannot. Not a big deal. I just need to stay up here and not be afraid. Honestly, that's the thing that kills me the most in these runs, is being afraid of the enemies. You have to have some serious confidence to not be afraid of the enemies here, because this one would kill me in one shot if it hit me. That is not a big deal, though, because he's not going to hit me. If he doesn't hit me at all, what does it matter? And I'm in the zone here, but I'm going to loot these guys because they might have good bows for me or something, and really a good bow would be nice here, and it would really add to how much money I've made. And I end up getting exactly what I'm talking about. A blue longbow here. I would have liked to keep the green longbow, but I don't want to lose any more health here. This next room I'm going into is generally filled with nightmare spiders, and they absolutely will beat the crap out of you. It is an incredibly easy room to cheese, and stay off the walls in this room because there are spike traps all along it. I'm opening up this door, which generally has a skeleton archer in it or a skeleton crossbowman, because that's where I need to go, and I actually heard a portal spawn there, if I remember correctly. I'm standing up here to avoid the spiders. The spiders will still aggro on me, but they can't get to me here. But this does put me in a spot where if the archer walks by, it should be pretty hard to dodge him. And this is a nightmare one, by the way, so they can shoot 3 shots at you, which is extremely dangerous. And I shoot him there because I'm thinking, oh, I might have to kill him. And I do have to run into the wall there to avoid the spiders. I just have to. It was worth the health. And the only health point that actually matters is your last one. As long as you still have 1 left at the end, you're good. It don't matter. Your health is there to be used, and that's why I used the surgery kit. I kill all these spiders with the arming sword. Arming sword is really good for that, whereas the actual bow isn't. There should be an archer above me, which is why I'm not going to break the pots. And I get this round shield with +2 strength which should actually be worth a decent amount to a fighter or a cleric because +2 strength is just great. It's a little bit extra health, a little bit extra damage. And round shields are pretty good, but they're not as good as heater shields. And Highroller Hell has extra enemy spawns. They can spawn in extra spots and there can be extra enemies. There can be a skeleton spawning right down here by this escape portal, which I was being wary of. And I also don't want to aggro skeletons from above here. But I do want to greed here because my inventory is not full, so I open up the portal in case something aggro's on me, and now I am just going to loot as much as I can here. You can see that every barrel I open up from this one, I get a blue item out of. That is how good Highroller Hell is. You will make so much money doing this. And by the way, when I get out on this run, this is one of the least amount of monies I've made in one of these runs before. But this is also the only one where I've gone in with no gear and actually made it out just fine. And I plan to be doing more of these in the future. I'm just picking these up looking for good rolls. This one has +2 additional magic damage on wizard shoes, which should actually be worth about 100 gold. They really like that as a roll. And I find reinforced gloves here with +2 agility. And I also want to take this Viking sword just because I do have enough space for it, and I'm probably just going to sell it to the merchant, but I was just about to leave anyway, so why not get the extra 15 gold? And this run was probably worth, if I had to guess, about 500 gold. That blue longbow being about 200 or 300 of it, and then the round shield being another about 100 to 150. And then I did have a purple pickup there, but I don't think I sold them in the footage, so I don't remember how much I got for it. But a purple pickup is generally like 70 gold to the collector. So I think like 500, 600 gold should be fairly normal here. And the only reason the longbow is worth that much is because it has really good rolls on it. It's got extra move speed and extra true additional damage. So it's just really good rolls. But yeah, pretty good run, and I made it out without even going in with a single piece of gear.